Hi guys, I'm Chris from the Nomadic Crobot. So we're back at the Marina now, full steam ahead. And can you remember a little while back we went to pick up some scaffolding boards, and Becca cleverly is going to turn these into our kitchen worktops. I mean, the amount of work that she's put in on these little buggers is amazing. And hopefully today we're going to get them fitted on top of our counters. Let's hand you over to Becca, who's already inside getting stuck in.
So the time has come to finally try and install the worktops in the kitchen. First things first, we need to turn the gas off, get our little hob disconnected so we can raise it and slot the worktop underneath. In theory, it should all go that beautifully smooth, but we'll see. The hob is just connected to the gas via the cooker, so I just need to undo that and then lift this out of the way, put the worktop in, set this back into the hole that we've created and see what happens.
She's off. Again, we keep removing stuff from the boat. We haven't added anything to it yet, have we?
You've got to remove so that you can add.
Wise words.
It's time for wedge removal. By that, we're taking this little section out here so that our other countertop will just sit nicely without this weird bit sticking out the end.
I'm just supporting that bit there, so in case people think what's he doing, can't let the stand go for too long. Some will say it's the hardest part of the job. What a bloody mess. Now what?
Now, do you want to plug the Titan in and we'll just suck up the dust?
My pleasure. Attach it onto the said nozzle. We're getting cocky. How did it perform?
Well.
Okay, let's get rid of this grubby worktop first, guys, and try and get these units put back together again properly.
That's not doing anything.
So originally we just wanted to get into the bilges to sort the rust situation out. So the kitchen has been half dismantled from the bottom up. Got it off?
Yeah.
Thinks it's heavy. Bless her.
God, sounds terrifying.
It's heavy, isn't it? And as much as it pains me, I'm going to put this horrible bloody thing back on. But not because I'm lazy for once. It's because we like the idea of it giving us a little bit more height. Yeah, good old height, eh? World's strongest woman. And it doesn't fit.
Right, so we're just reattaching the hob onto the new worktop.
So I'll do my bit.
I might actually screw it.
And how do you think she's done, guys? I think it looks absolutely stunning. Good little egg, isn't she? There it is. But Becca is not finished yet, guys. Come in. Present yourself, Rebecca. Come on, say something about it.
Hi, I'm Becca and I made this worktop out of scaffolding boards.
So, on to the bottom, guys. You know, we've got all this ballast all scattered around the kitchen. I don't know why we're keeping it, actually. We will probably dispose of it at some point into the river.
We were keeping it just in case, like, once everything's reinstalled, we will have a better idea of how balanced the boat is. And if we need a bit extra, we can just shove it in some little crevices.
We're obviously not really throwing it into the river for people that think I'm being serious. You know, you gotta watch it these days with your jokes, haven't you? We'll just throw it on the side of the road somewhere instead. Plug my Hoover in. Oh, Jesus! Becca sporting the Titan's penis around her neck. The word penis isn't, that's not a swear word, is it? A penis.
Oh, ribbed for your pleasure.
Okay, let's hose him in. Let's give him back his manliness. And again, this is using the Titan on the dry feature. He doesn't always have to bring joy in a wet vacuum format.
So, what we're going to do now is just drill some screws upwards to hold all of these several bits of worktop in place with one another so they don't move around loads. And then we're ready to fit all the doors and stuff back. So as you can see in our lovely kitchen here, we have this lovely decorative antique corking effect on the walls. What we're going to do with that is this. Oh, what? That was disappointing. It's glued on very well.
It's not quite the cool sort of...
I thought it was going to like come off in a massive bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take that antique cork. I think we're going to need a scraper.
Get in there.
See what I mean? In a desperate attempt to get some sort of defeat against the cork, I've started tearing away at the cork on the other wall whilst Chris works on the massively sticky stuff. Because this, in contrast, is barely like hanging on. Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell, that ain't fair, is it? I mean, it looks disgusting now, don't
But
it?
we just want to get this unit back up, completely fixed in the right order. And then at a later stage we'll paint the cupboard doors.
It's a good way to sort of hide your ballast as well, isn't it? Because it's so precious to us, this ballast.
Some people have like their sort of, what do you call them, like secret cupboards where they just bung all their stuff in and they shut the door, and if you open the door it all comes tumbling out. Well, we've got that, but in ours we have ballast. We have concrete. Basically.
Don't you ever refer to ballast as just concrete. So Becca is going to crack on and reinstall these cupboards. Sort of brings back memories of when we first were ripping everything up this.
So guys, I was up until like about 10:30, 11 last night trying to fit these bloomin' cupboards back. It's like everything, when you're doing it retrospectively, when it's not really meant to be done that way, it's just incredibly difficult.
Need a breather, it's getting hot. Working at this time of night. Yeah, it might not look like I've been working, guys, but that camera's bloody heavy and my elbow is aching. Yeah, I cannot move it at all anymore. It's been a busy old day. It's getting late. She won't stop. She will not stop. So Albecca continued to work. Morning, you alright in there?
So I got to a point, everything was going nice and smoothly until I had to put the doors on, and blimmin' heck, like they were so difficult, they just would not go on. Like every which way I tried to line them up with the runners, because they're sliding doors, they just wouldn't open and close properly. Like, and I must have had them on and off about 5 times. I was just about tearing my hair out.
Do my bit. Here we go, all done. All done for you, girl.
To leave it until this morning, have another crack at it, and I think I've cracked it. Which is a good feeling when you've been on at something for that long. So I've moved the oven out of the way, meaning I could move this little beam, which the runner sits under, if you can see that, off of the unit, and that way I can kind of slide the cupboards into place. And happy days, now I just have to kind of slot it back in. Fingers crossed. Wish me luck. But we need to mount the bottom of the cupboards onto these little runner strips here, and then we can kind of get everything else in line. In theory. I think I've cracked it! It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you've spent about 6 hours trying to do something and it just won't go to plan. Before I go any further, let's check that these bad boys slide. Ah, yeah! So that's the front one. Yay! I cannot tell you how happy this makes me at the moment. Boom! Boom, boom! So, the last thing to do is to fit some trim to hide the old worktop.
So, nip up to our second home, guys. Can you guess where we're off to? Our mother vessel, B&Q. Hub of all things wood. They haven't actually got that much wood, actually. Can it be softwood? So whack that in there and nip to the maternity clinic. Home of the Titan, ladies and gentlemen. Very fond memories of this place, guys. The birthplace of my beautiful Titan, Screwfix. But then something very distressing. Released a bloody new model, didn't they? Disgusting. What'd you get?
Oh, Danish oil.
Some screws. Awesome. Finger. And I think Becca may have set light to these little buggers too. So we've just been informed that there's a couple of dodgy chaps sort of wandering around out there, sort of not on the marina, but along the sort of towpath area, if that's what you call it on the river. It's not really the towpath, but we've been asked to lock up the boat a bit more securely and bring in some of the stuff in from the stern area. Got lots of sort of windlasses, things like that that could just be used to smash the window and come charging in and take us hostage. Yeah, they've sort of been hanging around this sort of area here for about the last 3 days. We've been seeing a couple of chaps walking up and down. They're homeless. Yeah, we were also told they're on the run from Bedford, so yeah, lots of speculations running around at the moment. It's quite a good little marina. Everyone seems to have each other's backs, so if I get the chance I'll take a little video and show you the chaps that we've been made aware of, but I haven't seen them for the last few hours. They'll have a shock if they come on the Wombat anyway, won't they? They'll probably leave faster than they came, won't they?
So maybe they've caught wind.
They've been seen lurking around in sort of a few people's gardens at 7 o'clock in the morning. One guy said there were 2 of them. I only thought there was 1, but I don't know, maybe they're brothers. Yeah, one chap's been making out that he works for the boat hire place opposite us over here. So we thought, oh right, that seems okay then. But it did look a bit shifty. Friendly enough when we came out this morning, said hello and stuff. But you know, you've got to feel sorry for them a bit, haven't you? This sort of people haven't got nowhere to go. Bit of a mess in there. You ready? The secret ballast. We're so protective over our ballast here. She's spent the whole last couple of days trying to get this all back together, get the runners all back on, bless her. It's been a really tricky job. It's actually the first main bit that we've actually reinstalled back on the boat, isn't it? I don't think we've actually installed anything that's sort of for keeping yet, have we? We've just sort of taken stuff out and fixed it. This is the first actual bit of sort of getting everything placed back in and making it our own.
Yeah, other than maybe the toilet, but that's, yeah, it's not like a complete sort of piece. So there is going to be something else that happens to this, and that is that we're going to paint some of these, but we're holding off painting them at the moment because we're worried that we'll spend all that time doing it nicely, and whilst we're working everywhere else it's just going to get scuffed and nasty, so just leave that like that for the moment.
The way you're clutching that Danish oil, anyone would have thought you won a sponsorship. And also with this, we're sort of playing with the ideas of having this sort of rusticy look where you have different parts of it, different shades of sort of wood colour.
Yeah, so maybe like leave some of the wood natural, obviously with an oil on it, probably Danish oil, but then paint a bit of colour onto some sections, like maybe we've got some nice tiles to go in the kitchen, courtesy of Sue, thank you, Paul and Sue, sorry. And so we're going to use that as a splashback for when the sink is installed.
Don't want to film too much of that area.
So we'll maybe tie the colour in with that.
So our Becca is going to get varnishing, and then I think it's just wind down a bit. It's been a bit hectic.
Right.
You want to see how she eats her dinner?
So I've already oiled this a couple of times, but thought now it's in situ and it's been handled a lot, I'll just give it one last one. And then with wood worktops, I think the idea is that you re-oil them every year just to keep them protected, basically.
Oh God. Panic as I suddenly saw one of the dodgy chaps, and he'd taken the form of a small child. Time to lock up and take cover. Prepared for a long night ahead of us, with only the Titan to protect us. We kept quiet and waited.